Our church is a place where people can come and feel accepted and feel welcomed from the minute they walk in the door.
Our church is a place where people find and experience God in a very easy way.
Our church is a place where I can call home, where I can meet my family, a place where I can go and worship with people who truly love God.
Our church is a place where I found a relationship with God.
Our church has had since the beginning a heart for lost people. We're passionate about bringing people who have yet to find Christ into a personal relationship with Him. It's been going on for decades, and we have that fire burning in our hearts today that we would make a difference in people who have given up on the church, no longer see it relevant, and we'll do everything we can to bring people into a place where they know who Christ is. We're passionate about bringing people into a living relationship with a wonderful God who loves them.
I love this church because even when I was completely uncomfortable about coming, like the first day when you don't know what to do, you don't know anybody, even my first day here was comfortable. It really was.
This church has been a big part of my journey in life. Prior to coming here, I felt like I really needed to be invested in and poured into. And so I was able to be fed here, from the teaching to the worship. Everything I got involved in, people were investing in me, and it wasn't about me always giving out. Now I'm at a point in my life where I can give and pour into other people.
Being a parent of 3 children, I love the youth ministry and the children's ministry. I mean, our children have grown up in this church, and to see their relation with the Lord evolve right in front of our eyes, and to see the closeness they have and the walk that they have, and that our pastors, our youth pastors and children's pastors, they've really poured themselves into our children. I know that wouldn't have happened without the foundation that was built here.
Well, I struggled with drug and alcohol addiction for most of my life, all the way to 35 years old. I was using drugs and alcohol every single day, and I was to the point where I wanted to commit suicide. I was close to death, and I knew at that point I needed something, and I didn't know what that something was, and I didn't realize that for me that I needed Jesus in my life to restore my spirit. And a friend of mine one day said, "Why don't you come to church with me?" And I did. I went to church with her, and from that point on I was hooked, and I started attending Kenosha First Assembly after that, every single week, getting fed with the Word and just loving the pastors and the worship. And finally that real big church didn't seem so big anymore. It became a real small church to me because people were loving and kindness, like it was a huge family. So it wasn't like I was a foreigner in another country. It really seemed like I was part of something, and that's what I really love about this church.
Our church is all about lost people. When we gave our lives to Christ, our journeys changed forever, and we decided that we were going to stop being interested in pursuits that were self-oriented, and that we would be the ambassadors for Christ. And our calling is to be outward-focused, interested in those who are walking away from God and who've never heard His word and never heard His name. And that's what God has put in our hearts to do every day.
We don't just stay within our 4 walls at KFA. We go out into our community, out into the world. We want to be Jesus with skin on for people, and KFA has many opportunities to do that.
Our church's vision is really all about seeking and saving that which is lost, the same thing that Jesus said He came to do. And there are so many people who are lost, whether it's being lost in their dead-end way of life, or whether it's lost of just not having hope. And so the mission of the church is to go after and provide that hope.
God is calling us to do greater things than we've ever done before. And all the 80 years of our church history and all the great things have happened, then He's calling us to take the next step. Healthy congregations reproduce, and so it's time for our church to reproduce. And so He's calling us not to have everybody come to Kenosha from all the various outlying areas, but for us to go to them. And that would be the biblical way to do that. And so God's calling us to become a multi-site church out west. And believe that He's opened the doors for us to do that. We're really excited and can't wait for that to happen.
One of the challenges that our church faces is reaching people who no longer feel the church has any relevance to them whatsoever. We want to go after people who are far from God, that may have been here for a funeral or a wedding, but on a week-by-week basis, God doesn't mean anything to them. That's the crowd that we would like to reach with the good news of Christ.
Some of the things we would like to do here on our own campus is to renovate and update our lobby space and our auditorium space. We need to improve our technology 100-fold so that the church out west that we will begin as a multi-site has the proper technology. That has to begin here first. We also know that we need cafe improvements and we need lobby improvements because we are a church that's relational. We believe in community. We know that in our space in the auditorium that hasn't been touched for 20 years, it's time. And it's time to improve it and renovate it and update it for the generations that are coming along.
I am so excited to be part of this church because it's a church that just does not stop growing. It is just exciting to see people change in front of you when while you're watching other people change and you look back, you're changing yourself.
I'm excited about the future of our church. I know there's lots of things coming, like a multi-site campus, which is very exciting because now we can reach people with what the great things that we've got here are now going to be in other places. That's great. Also, I'm excited that we're going to be growing and influencing more people in the community and having more opportunity for outreach. Those are huge things, and that's really the mission of our church, isn't it? It's not about us, it's about reaching people that don't know Jesus. So why not get bigger? Why not grow so that you can impact more people?
In order to accomplish the things that we're called to, we're going to need to change our perspective a little bit. What God wants us to do is greater than what we've done before. We've done some great things, and this church is a monument to some wonderful things that have happened in the past. But in order to go forward, in order to achieve what we are called to next, it's going to require some effort. It's going to require commitment. Now, that commitment is going to be different for different people. Not everybody is going to sacrifice in the same way. But if we want to go to where God is leading us, it's going to require all of us stepping up.
God has been so faithful to us as a church over our history. We've had people who have stepped up in so many different ways so that we enjoy what we enjoy every single weekend. We've had people who have given of themselves in work, they have prayed, they've invited their neighbors and friends. We have a rich history of God's blessing upon our church, and He's calling us now in a brand new day to do the same thing, to reach our community and to love people the same way those before us have done that. And so it's our turn. It's our opportunity to step up and make history. And it's going to take us praying. It's going to take us rolling up our sleeves and working hard. It's going to take us sacrificially giving, just like those before us have done. It's our turn. We can make a difference. God's calling us. He's depending on us. Let's do it together.